If you have swine, you are probably familiar with flies. Not only are flies a general nuisance, but they can also carry pathogens that cause both human and swine disease. So what is the best method to control flies? Hi, I'm Jessica Brown, a member of the Veterinary Entomology Laboratory and Vector-Borne Disease Extension Team at Penn State. You can use Integrated Pest Management, or IPM, to control pests in an effective and environmentally safe way. Using IPM involves a combination of common sense practices to break the pest life cycle. However, in order to do this effectively, the first step is knowing which pests you have. Did you know that there are thousands of species of flies in North America? Many of these flies do very important work in our ecosystems, like pollinating flowers and crops and decomposing organic matter. However, there are a few species that are considered pests on animal facilities. Each pest fly species has a unique biology that may influence what control method should be used or how effective it may be, so it's important to know which species you're trying to control. Let's take a look at the common fly pests in swine facilities. Filth flies are common because of their ability to develop in animal waste and other organic matter like wet feed and bedding, and there can be a lot of that in animal production systems. Pictured are filth fly larvae in manure waste. Along with filth flies, fruit flies, as seen here, are very common throughout swine houses, especially in facilities where feed and water are fed in a trough system. Other small flies can also develop in swine waste and other organic matter. Moth flies and hover flies can be found both within and outside the barns. Unlike many filth flies, fruit flies, moth flies, and hover flies tend to be localized, are poor flyers, and are not major carriers of pathogens that cause disease. There are 3 primary filth fly species that you may encounter: houseflies, black dump flies, and blowflies. While most of these pests are small and similar in color, each has some unique characteristics that can be used to help tell them apart. The housefly is the major pest fly species associated with swine. Houseflies are about 1/4 inch long and a dull gray color with 4 black stripes on the thorax, which is the area right behind the head. These flies have yellow on the margins of their abdomen and a sharply bent wing vein. They are most active during the day and will rest on ceilings, walls, windows, posts, and other surfaces inside the facility. Black dump flies are common on swine facilities, but are less often pests. In fact, they have been considered beneficial because as larvae they may eat the immature developing flies of other pest species and don't frequently leave the facility. Black dump flies are smaller than houseflies, although size is only one factor to consider. Black dump flies are often found in similar locations as houseflies. However, unlike houseflies, black dump flies do not have a bend in their wing veins. What really sets these flies apart from houseflies is that they are a shiny black, sometimes slightly bronze color with no stripes on the thorax. You can see a shiny black dump fly on the left and a duller gray housefly on the right resting on this beam in a swine facility. Blowflies are another common fly in swine facilities. Most blowflies are easier to identify than the previous 2 species. While they resemble the other flies in body shape, these flies tend to be brightly metallic green, blue, or bronze. Blowflies are important decomposers in the environment, developing in carrion. They have a very keen sense of smell and can find their way to animal facilities by odor. They can be found near waste areas like lagoons and around animal carcasses. Stable flies are typically outdoor biting pests associated with cattle or horses. However, if a facility is located near those other animals or if swine are reared in pasture situations, as seen here, stable flies may become a problem. Like houseflies, stable flies have 4 dark stripes behind the head. But stable flies have a checkerboard pattern on the abdomen where houseflies are unpatterned. The wing vein on a stable fly does not have the sharp angle found on housefly wings. These flies also have forward-projecting, biting mouth parts. You can also tell stable and houseflies apart by how they rest. When not feeding, stable flies rest on fence lines or structures in a characteristic way, pointed slightly up. This is distinct from houseflies, which rest horizontally. The name stable fly is a bit misleading as well, because this species generally isn't found indoors. While the common species of pest flies found in swine facilities can look very similar, By observing a few physical characteristics and behavior, you can successfully identify the problem species. Remember, all these flies can be present in swine facilities at the same time, so make sure you're scouting all areas for potential pests. Knowing which pest or pests you have is important for implementing IPM methods, which will save time and will be healthier for you and your animals.